Welcome to the SABC News COVID-19 Global Wrap. I'm Busisiwa Khatebe. This week, I bring you highlights of news which dominated headlines with regards to the coronavirus pandemic. But before we delve into it, let us have a look at some global stats. The world currently sits at over 65.5 million confirmed cases, with more than 45.3 million recoveries and over 1.5 million deaths. South Africa's coronavirus infections stand at over 800,000 confirmed cases, with over 739,000 recoveries and over 21,800 deaths. In South Africa, President Cyril Ramaphosa on Thursday announced that the country has joined the World Health Organization Global COVID-19 Vaccination Distribution Scheme. As the race continues for a vaccine to be approved and through the Solidarity Fund, South Africa has committed 327 million rand as an initial payment towards the purchase of vaccine once it becomes available. The president also extended the national state of disaster to 15 January 2021 after declaring the Nelson Mandela Bay municipality as a COVID-19 hotspot with restrictions such as curfew hours from 10 p.m. to 4 a.m. Still in that province, the health department says it's disappointed that 38 nurses had to be suspended for refusing to care for COVID-19 patients. The suspensions happened at Mbulweni TB Hospital in Port Elizabeth. The department says decisive action will be taken. Meanwhile, Health Minister Dr. Zweli Mkhize will be visiting the Garden Route in the Western Cape next week to assess the situation there. The Western Cape has recently seen a resurgence in cases in the Garden Route and in the Cape Metro. On to the rest of Africa. The continent has now recorded over 2.2 million confirmed COVID-19 cases with over 1.8 million recoveries, and the death toll stands at 52,937. Kenyan healthcare workers say they will embark on strike action from next week Monday if the government does not address their grievances, which they say are key in stemming the deaths of frontline healthcare personnel as they battle the COVID-19 pandemic. Meanwhile, the latest data from the United Nations AIDS shows that the rate of new HIV/AIDS infections globally is decreasing, but not rapidly enough, and it remains a critical healthcare priority for countries around the world. A webinar hosted by the University of KwaZulu-Natal in South Africa brought together leading scientists around how COVID-19 has impacted treatment, testing, and research into HIV/AIDS. In international news, the head of the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention warned that the COVID-19 pandemic will pose the country's grimmest health crisis yet over the next few months before vaccines become widely available. CDC Director Dr. Robert Redfield urged stricter adherence to safety precautions such as wearing face coverings, social distancing, and good hand hygiene to slow the spread of a highly contagious respiratory virus now claiming well over 2,000 U.S. lives a day. In Europe, former French President Valéry Giscard d'Estaing, who championed European integration and helped modernize French society in the 1970s, has died at the age of 94 after contracting COVID-19. Italy approved new restrictions on Thursday to avoid a surge in novel coronavirus infections over Christmas and the New Year, banning midnight mass and halting movement between towns. And the European Union criticized Britain's rapid approval of Pfizer and BioNTech's vaccine, saying its own procedure was more thorough. Britain approved the vaccine on Wednesday, jumping ahead of the rest of the world in the race to begin the most crucial mass inoculation program in history. In Asia, nearly 500,000 South Korean students nervously began a hyper-competitive university entrance exam on Thursday, with COVID-19 students taking the exam in a hospital and others separated by transparent barriers. And lastly, scientists are working around the clock to develop and test vaccines against SARS-CoV-2, the causative agent of COVID-19. Experts agree that widespread use of safe and effective vaccines will rapidly contain the COVID-19 pandemic, preventing transmission and disease. For the latest updates on the coronavirus, visit sabcnews.com.